Hello everybody and welcome to the first Hedgerows 2 development log. Over the past few months, the team has been very busy working on new things to show off. The team have had several meetings behind the scenes since the last open play tests, and we made decisions on the direction of the game and what we want for the alpha release. Following last year's testing period, we listened to the feedback from you guys and put our minds together to ensure that we can deliver the best experience. We also made the decision that you, the community, needed more transparency. As a result of this, we've put together an extensive view into our hard work since then.
This video is going to be a little bit long, so there'll be timestamps in the description.
Without further ado, I'll leave it to Ferrari to begin his segment to show off his work. Enjoy.
Hi guys, I'd like to wish you all a warm welcome to the first Enlightened Studios development log. I'm Ferrari340, the weapon and vehicle artist for Hedgerows 2, and I've been working for ES since 2019, so not as long as the other guys, but still quite a while. In terms of software, I like to keep things simple, and the main programs that I use are Blender 3D, Adobe Substance Painter, PureRef for my references, and Roblox Studio of course. And in this segment of the devlog, I'll be giving you guys a closer look at some of the new weapons and vehicles, as well as discussing my plans for the near future regarding development. We'll begin with the new guns and texture work, starting off with the CSRG 1915 Shosha. This is a heavy-hitting light machine gun which was devised by the French during World War I, and it's a lot more mobile and portable than other machine guns, but it does have heavy recoil due to the Lebel cartridge that it fires and also its short barrel. And in game it will be a heavy hitter of course, and as well as this I've modelled an anti-aircraft sight which you'll be able to equip and unlock. And many of the other machine guns will have these as well, because it's just a nice option. Because many of these guns didn't have their own optics or scopes, so it will still give you some customizability as well. Next up is the Munier A6 carbine, another one of my more recent models, and this is a semi-automatic carbine which feeds normally from a 5-round internal magazine. There is a bayonet that you'll be able to equip in game, as well as a 10-round trench magazine extension, which quite a few of the other rifles will have as well, so the Enfield, the G98 for example, and this doesn't have a scope actually, but it does have night sights, and I'll show you the textures in a minute, but they should allow for some interesting gameplay on the night maps, because this is one of the only weapons in game which will actually have its own night sights. So I'll switch you over quickly to Studio, and this is the textured version in Studio. So as you can see, we've got the bayonet here, and the extended magazine, and the night sights here as well. And it does feed from a stripper clip, unlike some other French rifles, so it won't be too cumbersome to load in game. Moving on to vehicles now. These haven't been my primary focus as of late, but I think it's a good idea just to show you guys two of the more recent vehicles. And this is the Universal Carrier, also known as the Bren Carrier. It's a light infantry fighting vehicle slash troop transport, armoured troop transport, I guess you could say. It's much smaller than the German 251 half track, so it will be a lot more nimble, a lot more manoeuvrable in game. And it has horseman suspension here, which allows it to get over rough terrain much better than a lot of other vehicles at the time. And in terms of armament, it's a bit underpowered compared to the 251. It can only mount one Bren gun in the firing port here, but for such a small vehicle I'd say it's more than enough. And hopefully sometime soon I'll be making two other variants of this. So the Wasp flamethrower carrier, which mounts the flamethrower where the Bren gun is, hopefully that, as well as the one of the 2-pounder anti-tank variants, which features a 2-pounder up here, which has a semi-rotating turret, I guess you could. And lastly we have the Panzer III-L. This will be Germany's medium tank in-game, and I'd say it's quite comparable to the Crusader Mark III. Both in terms of its armour and its armament. So this features a 50mm KWK gun, while the Crusader features a 6-pounder gun which is 57mm, so quite similar there. I think the only main difference is the profile really. The Crusaders it's not as tall, and it's definitely a quicker tank as well, made for the desert. But this is probably my best vehicle model so far, and it has a whole MG as well as coaxial as well, and yeah, it's definitely be a nice tank, sort of a classic German tank you see in many games, so it should be fun to play with in game. To finish off, I'll give you guys some insight into my future development plans and a couple sneak peeks and info on some cosmetics that will be coming to the game, and new weapons and vehicles as well. So in terms of guns, all that's left to model for France is the Châtellerault FM2429, which is basically a French Bren. And for Germany and Britain, I need to make the Boys anti-tank rifle and a German anti-tank rifle as well. I haven't decided on which one, but I think it might be the 39. Not sure yet though. I think for Alpha, there might be a couple Norwegian guns, maybe a Swiss gun as well. Not sure about that yet. And then in terms of vehicles, I need to remodel the Churchill and I need to make the Tiger one. I know you guys will be excited for that one. And then there's a few more universal carrier variants, as well as the Valentine, which will be a British tank as well. And then in terms of grenades and throwables, I have a few more to make. So for example, the German bundle stick grenade, the British gammon bomb, I think there was the British smoke grenade as well. So there'll be more variety than you guys have seen already in game. So definitely a lot more choice. And then there's quite a few attachments for me to make as well. Everything from optics to extended magazines, different stock and furniture, grips. Nothing like COD Vanguard, thankfully, but some more historically accurate variety really in terms of attachments. And ultimately, I know Coby will have talked about this in his segment of the devlog, but I'd like to give you guys a sneak peek of a couple of camos coming to the game. And there will be 4 rarities. I'm sure he will have explained already as well. So starting off with issued, as you can see, that will be the lowest rarity, and then we go to distinguished, and followed by rare, and then legendary as the rarest. And all of these camos are made by myself in Photoshop, just from scratch. A couple of them will be based off of real life camos in World War II, but they're all original essentially, and they're based off of 5 environments I've tried to stick to. So there's desert, there's woodland, grassland, tundra, and finally jungle as well. So some good variety in there. No anime skins, nothing like that, but this should be a good variety for you guys, and keep it a bit more immersive. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me in my segment of the devlog. I hope you enjoy the rest of the devlog as well, and I look forward to future updates regarding the game, and ultimately playing the game with you guys once it's been released.
Hello, I'm Olaf, and I do map and UI stuff here, and so I'm gonna show you the people, some of the stuff I have been up to lately. So the first thing I started out doing was the destructible house model you saw earlier, and we knew we wanted to have destruction in the game, but we weren't exactly sure how to do it. But yeah, we figured out a way that would maybe work, and so I made a house for it, and yeah, ended up working pretty well. The house model itself took some time to convert, because I essentially had to remake the house, place the main structure of it, and then cut it up in pieces, and then kinda make these details into a texture that would look good. And I had to learn all that, so it took some time. So far I've only made a few house textures, the first one being the 2 first ones being the walls for the house we talked about earlier, and as you can see here, they look pretty good. The second one I made was a roof texture, and it looks kinda poop, but it's kinda nice at the same time, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's just a bit repetitive. So these textures are pretty cool, but I made them by using a base material that I photoshopped together and then baking them onto a 3D surface, which made a 3D looking texture. But now I'm trying out a different technique that lets me generate procedural textures, which can be useful in different areas. They probably won't be used that much in the game, but hey, they are pretty cool. Anyways, so the third thing I have been working on is a new menu for the game. And I'm using a more professional workflow, which will hopefully make stuff a bit better, hopefully. And the aim of the new menu is to make it a bit easier to use and maybe a bit more consistent, but I don't know. So I've tried to make the menu fit the game as well as possible, from my knowledge at least, and I think it looks pretty good, but it still needs some adjustments in some areas. Alright, here it is. It has a new structure, as you might see. So on the left we have the menu, which will show all the, menu things. Yeah, store, inventory, assignment, stats and settings. And we think that this fit well here. And separated to the right, we have the game related stuff. So deploy, loadout, and squad. This will be the main tabs where you will access the different submenus you wanna see. The structure itself might remind you of like a web page, which is what I aimed for, as they resemble a similar structure. But yeah, I'm trying to make this as easy and quick to use as possible, as well as easy to understand. An example of this might be to use pop-up labels for different icons you might see and, not understand what they are in the beginning. Okay, so apart from that, I've only made a few map assets, and then I made some fortification assets, and now I'm making some vegetation, so like trees and stuff. But yeah, that's kinda it for me. I'm sorry if it isn't that much progress, or it doesn't come across as that much progress, but it is kinda a lot. Sorry, I'm tired now, okay, goodbye.
Before I get into my part of the devlog, I'm going to talk about a meeting we had internally about the gameplay of Hedgerows 2 and where we'll take it in the future. And during this meeting we all came to the decision that Hedgerows 2 definitely lost part of its identity with the more arcadey aspects that have been implemented, throughout the months leading up to the test. And if we think about Hedgerows 1 for instance, there was barely any hit markers, barely any kill confirmation, and while the game was still crude, it was definitely fun and had something interesting about it. And Hedgerows 2 has a big opportunity to expand on what Hedgerows 1 had to offer, since it was tactical enough to be interesting, but at the same time casual enough for people who maybe aren't really into tactical games. So in saying that, we are going to be taking Hedgerows 2 in a more tactical direction moving forward. And if you disagree with that change, I completely understand. We are in a volatile place with Hedgerows 2 right now, since we have the OG players who have been here since, Hedgerows 1, or have participated in any tests, for instance, Hedgerows 2 FPS that lagged like crazy. It was a stress test we did a while ago. And then we have the new age players who maybe enjoy Hedgerows' more arcadey side, who have maybe come from YouTubers like John Roblox, who usually plays games like Arsenal and Phantom Forces, And if you are one of those people who enjoy arcadey games more, I do encourage you to stick around and see where Hedgerows 2 does go from here. We have some cool stuff planned, I can tell you that. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Let's move on to my bit of the devlog. I'm going to go through the gameplay changes as quick as possible, since I don't want this video to end up being like 30 minutes long. I've cut some stuff out here so that the devlog isn't too long, but I will be posting about them in teasers, so watch out for that. So anyway, first off, we have some character controller improvements with better vault detection and mantling, so you'll be able to climb over high obstacles in the future. Next, the aiming field of view for iron sights has been reduced to almost nothing, and the aim speed has been made slightly slower for all guns. The aiming speed was faster in the previous test, since I was playing around seeing if a faster aim speed would be good for Hedgerows 2, but obviously it's not, and that was a dumb decision, so that's been made slower again. Next, we have a free aim, sort of like Insurgency. If you move around your camera, you'll see your gun follows what direction your camera's going. With this change, it should make hip firing much more skill based, so that you don't have people running around like it's Call of Duty just shooting everyone they see. The next thing is bullet speed. It's been reduced a little bit. This is to give more depth to the sniping gameplay, because in the last test I realized that the bullet speed wasn't really noticeable, and it was basically like you just had a laser gun at the end of the day. I actually did test this out, me and Olaf, we had a sniping battle. I won obviously. But yeah, this change has made sniping much more fun. And lastly, the damage counter, or the point counter that you'd see at the bottom of your screen, has been completely removed. The reason for this change is just because when you know how much damage you do, you're much more likely to rush the enemy. Let's say you snipe someone and you do 80 damage, you now know 100% that they are at a huge disadvantage, and you could probably just rush in with your pistol and start shooting and probably win. And that sort of gameplay doesn't really fit in a tactical style game. And that's everything for the gameplay changes. Moving on to the more interesting things, we have a new experimental quick chat feature. As you can see, you have a little wheel of different things you can say, different phrases.
I need a medic, please. Guys, I think someone's near. Hank, I need resources.
We are using Peter Griffin as a placeholder voice right now. And along with the quick chat voice lines, you also have contextual voice lines that will play whenever something happens, be it a point being captured, or the weather, or being shot at too many times. It will play some different voice lines depending on that.
We have taken objective Charlie.
We got this sector, let's keep going.
Now I know what you're thinking, Coby, where are you going to get voice actors from? And honestly, I have no idea, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. The next thing that we have that's also experimental is destruction. As you can see, this building's being blown up and stuff. You will be able to tweak how much detail the destruction has, so if you are on a lower end PC, you will be able to play the game completely fine. On the topic of destruction, there's also a new gameplay mechanic coming in called fortifications, where you're able to build things like sandbags and tank traps and barbed wire, things like that. When building different things, it will take up different amounts of resources, so things that use sandbags will take up sandbags, things that use metal will take up metal, and things that use wood will take up wood. And you'll be able to resupply your resources from various vehicles, be it a jeep or maybe a half track. The next thing we're going to talk about is the new rig for the first person view model. As you can see, the hands look more realistic this time. I also have control over the elbow direction and the shoulder position, so you won't be seeing the arm clip through the gun when you're inspecting or reloading or something, which is very good. And can I say, it has been hell trying to import this damn rig. Oh my, the FBX importer in Roblox stock. I was going to make an entire whereas R15 made it custom work that Roblox royalizable. Do not get any of these wrong, because if I get any of these, I'm getting stressed. You can see why I was going to make an entire video about this, but I'm stressed. Alright, I'm stressed. Okay, thank you for... I need water. Thank you for watching the devlog. I just want to personally thank you all for, sticking around, even though development's been a bit slow and I've been in hospital and all those kind of things. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later.